depicting the fall of Icarus from Ovid's Metamorphoses is important to understand maps. So, to appreciate maps, Peter Bruegel's Fall 1558, Fall of Icarus painting will be of immense help. Borrowing a theme from Ovid's Metamorphoses, Bruegel presents a panoramic view with three characters in the foreground: a farmer plowing his field, a shepherd tending sheep, and a fisherman, and who are absorbed too much in their tasks to even notice the tragic event that is occurring nearby. Because what happens is Icarus and his father are imprisoned in the palace of Minos, and they decide to escape by air. And Daedalus, the father, makes wings of wax and feathers in order to fly, and he orders his son Icarus to fly, but not too near the sun, because of course the wax would melt. But Icarus disobeys out of pride, and Icarus' wings melt. He plunges into the sea. And there is a poem about this painting, which is in Brussels, by the poet W.H. Auden. So in Bruegel's Icarus, for instance, how everything turns away quite leisurely from the disaster. The plowman may have heard the splash, the forsaken cry, but for him it was not an important failure. The sun shone as it had to, on the white legs disappearing into the green water, and the expensive, delicate ship that must have seemed something amazing, a boy falling out of the sky, had somewhere to get to and sailed calmly on. So it's a comment on people trying to look away from the suffering of other people. So next slide. So here you have the shepherd there. Next, the farmer, and you have the legs of Icarus disappearing into the sea. Next. Okay. Why do antique maps fascinate us? I think their appeal comes from the creative synthesis of geography, exploration, trade, travel, history, culture, commerce, science, and art. Antique maps continue to charm us because they are coveted instruments of power. He who has the map will find the treasure. They are also prized artifacts of beauty, often delightfully decorative. Above all, maps are archives of knowledge because they are also texts, human texts. Next slide. So, I'm talking about three aspects of the map, about power, about beauty, and knowledge. Next. Archives of knowledge. Next. Here we have another map of Abraham Ortelius. We have Mindanao now and the Visayas. Luzon has not yet appeared. So, maps manifest a metaphysical aspect which makes us aware of a reality beyond the visible, prompting us to wonder about our unique being. Cartography thrives from a certain ambiguity because situated at the intersection of exact science and art, it is based on physical description and mathematical theory. Yet, it still finds it necessary to bring in the imagination. This is a beautiful map, and every collector wants to collect this map because it shows the Philippines at the heart of, dead center. So, um, a map does not represent, but it presents the world. By a visual rendition of what we refer to as the real, maps make the world visible. They reveal landmarks, but they also conceal sites because in a map, the cartographer has to select the details. Therefore, there are silences in maps. They may erase existing borders, and therefore, one comes here close to understanding what is called the cartographic transaction, meaning to say, the transformation of the physical world into a conceptual mental map. And it should not surprise us then that maps are used to serve the ideology of conquest, the rhetoric of nationalism, or the politics of cultural difference. That's why during war, many maps appear where the troops are. Three conceptual stages comprise this cartographic transaction. A first stage where the space is measured, a second stage where the space is visualized, and a third stage where the space is narrated. In the first stage of measurement, the land surveyor standing on a hilltop or a church tower obtains accurate calculations of the landscape, and with the surveyor's tools, the space of the world becomes quantifiable. In the second stage of visualization, the map maker creates images that later circulate in society in order to attract people to a life of adventure, to stir up their pride of place, to strengthen their religious fervor, and to convey the thrills as well as the perils of the age of exploration. The Indiae Orientalis of Bruegel's friend Abraham Ortelius abounds with mermaids, sea monsters, and a sunken galleon. I do not know if it was in the map before this. Yes, you have there the two mermaids who are vain because they're looking at themselves at mirrors, and you have there a whale and a sunken galleon. So the next please. Next slide. This one. This one is showing the battle between the Spaniards, the Spanish and the Dutch over Manila Bay, where the Spain lost. It was the battle of Manila Bay between Admiral Olivier Van Noort and Dr. Antonio de Morga in 1600. And it's a very beautiful map with medallions, with cartouche, with a compass rose there. And you have the map almost fully there, 1613. The next map. This is the version, the 1744 version of the 1734 Murillo Velarde map. This is smaller, but it is quite interesting because if you look closely, there is a legend that Francis Xavier reached Mindanao. And next slide, I think you can see. That's the cartouche dedicating it to the Governor General Tamon. It's very ornate. But there, you see here, the story is told that Francis Xavier reached Mindanao and there was a storm. And in order to calm the storm, he threw his crucifix into the sea to calm the sea. And later on, when he was on shore, there was a big crab with its claws around the crucifix, returning the crucifix to him. It's a legend, but according to Humberto Campo, in Cagayan de Oro, there are big crabs with a cross on the back of the crab. So, how do you explain that? So here you have Francis Xavier there approaching to show. And then the next one here is better seen here. This is in a book by Father Colin, 1663. And the next one, this is an English map, George Anson, 1748. Sometimes when the European passes by, just by looking at the map, they give their name to the map. Like in the Batanes, when they make the map, they think it is their own. So in the third stage, space is recounted. Here the task is not, and here we get the discourse of geography. And I think to show this narration of space, we have now the Pedro Murillo Velarde, the Carta Hidrográfica y Corográfica de las Islas Filipinas of 1734. Next, please. This is a French map. We have the Islas de las Ladrones there. Next. You have the entire Philippines. This is a French map also. And you notice in the cartouche, the medallion there, it says the Philippine Islands, also called Manila. There was a time when there was a time during Marcos' time when they wanted to rename the Philippines for the new society. And they were thinking of Maharlika. Carmen Guerrero Nakpil suggested, why not Manila, so everybody will be a Manileño. But I guess it did not prosper. This is the famous Murillo Velarde map with the prints made by Nicolas Bagay de la Cruz on both sides. Okay, so we shall So this mother of Philippine maps, in 1733, King Philip V of Spain ordered the Governor General Fernando Tamon to prepare a map of the Philippines, and Governor Valdez Tamon assigned the task to a Jesuit who was a professor of canon law at the Colegio de San Ignacio in Manila. And he must have worked already on the map because it is 1733 and he comes up in 1734 with the map. And he was the authority on maps and the best chronicles that had appeared on the archipelago. And and the map placed all the towns, points, coves, ports, shoals, reefs, routes, courses, rivers, ports, and distances as was possible in so difficult a matter and within the scale. So he really was very minutious, and it is a map which includes, so it's like a sailing map also because he included, you will see closely, there are bintas, sampans, Chinese junks, and galleons around the archipelago. Okay, next. Here are the prints, and there are 12 panels. And in the first panel, we have the Chinese, the Sanlayas, Sanlay in Ilocano, diba? And here, we have here the Chinese residents. We have a long-haired, bearded Christian convert. We have a trader with a fan, a fisherman with a pescador, wearing a raincoat of palm leaves, and a laborer with a pigtail carrying a pole, cargador de pinga. So the last three with pigtails. Okay. And then the next one, we have Kafirs, half-naked Kafirs with bells, string of small bells around their ankles. Okay, next one. Here in the third frame, we have a family of mestizos, meaning mixed Spanish and Filipino. The man with a hat and a long cape over bloomers. The woman with a saya and a necklace, tambourine necklace. And there is a Mardican who is a native of Ternate, not in Cavite but in the Moluccas, because the Moluccan Ternates, the Mardicans from Ternate in Moluccas came to Cavite after a certain persecution. And you have a Japanese with a shaved head and a sword. Next. Here. Here we have a Spanish official fully dressed in the manner of Louis XIV, complete with greatcoat, lace cuffs, and curled wig. And he is protected from the heat of the tropical sun by his servant who holds a parasol behind him. And there is what is called a Negro Criollo, a Spaniard born in the Philippines who is dark skinned. And then you have two Indios indulging in a favorite pastime, which is cockfighting already. And then behind them, we have two Aitas with bow and arrow. Next. And here, the Philippines at that time was very cosmopolitan. We have people of many nationalities already. Here we have an Armenian or Persian smoking a water pipe, a Mongol with a beard and a turban, and a native of Malabar from Goa. Okay. Next. Here, in this frame, it's a street scene with a couple, a barefoot Indio. Okay. Because, you know, why are we called Indios? Because Columbus thought he had reached India. So you have the West Indies and then you have the East Indies. And then you have with a black cloth and lambon, then you have a native woman in India with a scapular around her neck. You have a female vendor selling guavas. You have a little boy there holding crabs. And the other naked boy carrying a piece of bamboo containing vinegar there is a Visayan there with a Balarao, a regional knife, and at the back there you have a couple dancing the kulintang with somebody playing the mandolin. Here we see a farmer whipping his carabao to help him plow a field. Another farmer with a wooden sled there at the back. A woman pounding rice there at the back and beside the kubo, the hut. And we have for fauna, there is a crocodile. As you know, the Philippines has a lot of crocodiles. Some of them are in Congress. Bearing its sharp teeth. And then there is a boa constrictor about to strangle a pig there. And then you have a puting uwak, a white in the sky. So you get the flora and fauna of the Philippines. Next. You have also included, because the Philippines was Guam was grouped with the Philippines. The ambassador to the Philippines sometimes is also the ambassador of Guam. And we have the map of Guam here. That's why there are many Filipinos in Guam. Almost like the Philippines. Next. You have Intramuros here, the Pasig River. So, next. Here we have somebody there cutting bamboo. We have nangka. We have papaya. Somebody being transported in a hammock. And we have an albino monkey at the back. We have a nganga, a reka tree, a palm tree. We have somebody here holding a bat. So it shows, they're trying to show what you have in the Philippines. Next. And here you have Zamboanga, I think the fort. Zamboanga. And the next. You have Cavite, where they built the galleons also. Okay. So, Father Murillo Velarde must have been overjoyed by the naive charm of the 12 vignettes. In any case, pride is visible in the signatures of the artist and the engraver, who proclaim at the bottom of the Murillo Velarde map, Francisco Suarez, Indio, Tagalog, Loizo. Francisco Suarez, Indio, Tagalog, made this. And then the other one, Lo Esculpio, Nicolas de la Cruz Bagay, Indio, Tagalog, and Manila, Año 1734. I engraved this, Nicolas de la Cruz Bagay, Indio, Tagalog, Manila, in 1734. So the 1734, 1744, 1760 Murillo Velarde maps show Panacot, the island disputed by China, even before it became known as Scarborough Shoal. In fact, this island has been consistently depicted in ancient Philippine maps from 1598 onwards. Only after September 12, 1784, when an East India Company tea clipper was wrecked on one of its rocks, did the shoal become Scarborough Shoal. Panacot or Scarborough Shoal does not appear in any of the ancient Chinese maps, and that's what Supreme Justice Antonio Carpio keeps repeating. Cartography, therefore, to end, is the narrative of space. Maps tell the story of space because to name a place is already to tell a story. And there are as many stories as there are names on a map. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. So at this point, the floor is open for any questions. So the mic is located at the center.